Aloy is coming back, and in the AC universe, it looks like we have our own witch, Assassin. Two major rumors have been shaking up the gaming world recently, and today we're diving deep into those leaks and early info. First, we'll kick things off with Horizon 3 updates. Then, we'll move on to the dark and mysterious details surrounding Assassin's Creed Hexa. Both titles sit at critical turning points for their franchises. If you're ready, let's start our journey with the Horizon side of things. And before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so we can keep bringing you more content like this. Your support means a lot. All right, let's get started. The massive cliffhanger left by Horizon Forbidden West has pushed expectations for the next game through the roof. Even though nothing has been officially announced, both fans and industry analysts believe Horizon 3 isn't a question of if anymore, it's a matter of when. The biggest reason is Nemesis, the artificial intelligence threat heading toward Earth. Born from the mistakes of Far Zenith, this highly advanced entity has the potential to wipe out humanity entirely. It seems almost guaranteed that Aloy won't be able to face this threat alone. Because of that, many believe Horizon 3's central theme will revolve around tribes and factions finally uniting. From the Nora to the Quen, countless cultures will determine their fate through this all-out war. But Nemesis isn't the only problem. Remember, at the end of Forbidden West, Hephaestus managed to escape once again. This AI continues to mass-produce machines, threatening the biosphere. So players may end up fighting both Nemesis and Hephaestus simultaneously. That alone sets the stage for a high-intensity story built around twin crises. The allies who stand with Aloy will be more important than ever. Beta, whose story we followed in Forbidden West, could play a key role in this new war thanks to her technical knowledge and emotional depth. Seika, who won players' hearts in Burning Shores, will likely return, and her relationship with Aloy may grow even stronger. But the biggest question mark still hangs over Silence. The late Lance Reddick's character had chosen to stay and fight Nemesis, which raises huge questions about his true motives. Horizon 3 could finally reveal what Silence's ultimate intentions really were. Now, the most striking theory is the idea of Dark Aloy, meaning Aloy could face a dark clone of herself created by an AI. This would take the story from a typical action-adventure into a deeply philosophical identity crisis. Dark Aloy could copy not just Aloy's face, but her intelligence, tactics, and emotional instincts, making every encounter especially dramatic. It could also create serious trust issues among nearby characters. For example, imagine a village being attacked by Dark Aloy, only for the real Aloy to show up hours later. Moments like that could force players to navigate themes of trust and betrayal throughout the game. The arrival of Dark Aloy could cut right into the heart of Aloy and Seika's relationship. The emotional connection that began in Burning Shores might grow even deeper in Horizon 3, but the existence of a copy manipulating that bond could lead to one of the story's biggest emotional breaking points. This would deeply affect Seika's ability to know who to trust, potentially altering the direction of the narrative. For Beta, this situation could be even more devastating. As someone already struggling with her own identity as a clone, facing a malicious copy might generate intense psychological and emotional conflict. A three-way dynamic Aloy, Beta, and Dark Aloy could become the emotional core of Horizon 3. Connected to, this is the APOLLO database, still shrouded in mystery. This archive supposedly contains all of humanity's historical knowledge, yet its fate remains unknown. If something like Nemesis or Dark Aloy were to gain access to this data, it could unleash a new catastrophe. Many expect Guerrilla Games to deepen the narrative with weighty, responsibility-driven choices. Another big point is geographic expansion, remember. At the end of Forbidden West, Silence examined a map of South America. That could mean our next journey takes us to a new continent, from tropical jungles to towering mountain regions. This new region could bring expanded ecosystems, tougher terrain, and entirely new cultures. The Quen, with their technological sophistication and rich cultural background, may become major players in Horizon 3. But internal conflict within their society could make things harder for Aloy and Seika, adding layers of strategy and diplomacy. New machines are expected to be among the game's biggest surprises. Each Horizon game has raised the bar with its mechanical creatures, and this time, facing massive armies under Nemesis could create a near-apocalyptic atmosphere. On the tech side, the Decima engine's power could push Horizon 3 to a whole new visual level. Looking at the technical achievements in Death Stranding 2, it seems likely Guerrilla will push the engine even further. More dynamic weather systems, sprawling battlefields, and tighter visual consistency could create an incredibly cinematic experience. In fact, the release of Zero Dawn Remastered was widely seen as a strategic move to visually align the older game with the upcoming one. Taken together, all these developments strongly suggest Horizon 3 will be the peak of Aloy's journey. And finally, we have what seems like the inevitable showdown with Dark Aloy. This final confrontation could be far more than a simple duel between two characters. It could symbolize a clash between hope and despair, free will and cold machine logic. Guerrilla may even give players a choice: destroy Dark Aloy or try to save her. That decision might determine not just the ending of the game, but the future of the entire Horizon universe. If Dark Aloy is saved, it could open the door to a possible spin-off. If destroyed, the story might close with a heroic yet tragic end for Aloy. Now, we're moving on to the second major rumor: Assassin's Creed Hexa. This long-hidden Ubisoft project has the potential to completely reshape the future of the franchise. Set during the Witch Hunt era, its dark narrative pushes the series' familiar historical action identity into something far more psychological, gothic, and mystical. While Hexa will still revolve around the classic conflict between assassins and Templars, it looks like it'll blend that with horror and paranoia to deliver a totally fresh storytelling style. Ubisoft has even described Hexa as the most unusual entry in the series, signaling that the AC brand is about to head in an entirely new direction. The game takes place in 16th century Europe within the Holy Roman Empire during one of the darkest periods in history, the witch hunts. At the time, hundreds of innocent people were burned alive as witches, based on little more than suspicion. What makes Hexa so interesting isn't just this historical backdrop, but the way Ubisoft seems to be combining it with psychological horror. The short teaser that was released showed pentagram motifs, an assassin logo made of burning branches, and Germanic text reminiscent of Mephisto. All of this suggests a narrative tied to demons, curses, and twisted belief systems. The familiar motto, "We work in the dark to serve the light," feels more ominous than ever. The project is being led by Clint Hawking, known for Far Cry 2 and Watch Dogs Legion. His past work is filled with unconventional, risk-taking ideas, which explains why Hexa feels so different. One of the most notable directions here is that the game moves away from the large-scale RPG style the series has embraced in recent years. Instead, Ubisoft is aiming for a more intimate, heavy atmosphere experience. Forests, villages, dungeons, torture courts. In other words, instead of giant maps filled with icons, we'll explore more compact but deeply atmospheric environments. This signals a return to the series' roots: stealth, tension, and quiet assassinations happening behind the scenes. The strongest rumor about Hexa's main character is that she'll be a young woman named Elsa. According to the story, Elsa witnesses her mother being accused of witchcraft and burned alive, leading her down the path of the Assassin Order. This could be one of the most personal and emotional stories in the franchise. Elsa isn't just battling political forces, she's fighting her own trauma and inner darkness. In this world, the enemy isn't only the authorities, it's the people themselves. Paranoia, mistrust, and uncertainty sit at the heart of Hexa. Players won't just hide from enemies, they'll have to manipulate people's fears, earn their trust, and uncover hidden truths. It's clear Ubisoft is planning a major shift in design philosophy. Instead of a massive open world, Hexa will offer a tighter, more focused experience, one that players unravel by collecting clues rather than following a typical quest chain. This investigative structure slowly uncovers the story piece by piece. The development team has also reportedly created a new visual system where even the absence of light becomes a gameplay mechanic. Fog-soaked forests, candlelit alleys, tense courtrooms, the environments are crafted to mess with your mind. It's even said that the protagonist's fear can affect how the world is perceived: tighter vision, louder breathing, hallucinations emerging in the dark. Hexa isn't just a historical game, it's designed to get inside your head. Hexa stands out not only for its atmosphere, but for its place within the Assassin's Creed universe. After Shadows, Ubisoft plans to connect all the major new AC projects through the Animus Hub. Hexa will be a key pillar in that system. So while the game tells its own story, it'll also help define where the franchise goes next. A recruiter at Ubisoft Montreal even said Hexe will leave a lasting mark on the series, a strong sign of how much confidence the studio has in this project. This isn't just an experiment, it's the beginning of a long-term vision. Internal changes at Ubisoft have also shaped Hexe's creative direction. After Marc-Alexis Cote stepped away, the company shifted toward a model where smaller teams produce more creative work in shorter development cycles. Hexe is the first major product of that structure, which explains why it's breaking so far from traditional AC formulas. Instead of large RPG-style maps, we're getting smaller, more atmospheric zones. Instead of long objective trees, more meaningful and intense encounters. Ubisoft wants to avoid repetition and keep players constantly on edge. Narratively, Hexe digs into the dark truth behind the witch hunts. Rumor has it that Elsa's mother's execution isn't just a personal tragedy, it's the opening move in a larger Templar conspiracy. Church and government powers may be secretly manipulating the public, using fear to control society. This political subtext could make Hexe one of the most socially driven stories in the franchise. Players won't just be chasing personal revenge, they'll be exposing a massive, organized scheme. Gameplay-wise, social stealth will reportedly play a major role. Hiding won't just mean sticking to the shadows, it'll mean blending in with society and manipulating how people think. Elsa may be able to turn local fears and superstitions to her advantage. Some missions could require gaining trust or reshaping public perception to move forward. This adds a fresh psychological strategy to the series. For example, triggering an NPC's fears and pushing them into panic could open new paths. Another big innovation is the silent choices system. Here, even the actions you don't take can affect the story. Microdecisions will play out through behavior rather than dialogue, and sometimes doing nothing might be the choice that shifts the outcome. To support this, Ubisoft has re-engineered the Anvil engine so that light and sound directly influence player psychology. Details disappearing in darkness, sudden audio changes, shapes forming in the fog. Hexe is designed to keep players mentally stressed throughout the experience. And those are the two major rumors dominating the conversation lately. With Horizon 3's potential apocalyptic finale and Hexe's dark psychological journey, it's clear the gaming world may be heading into a brand new era. Of course, everything we've discussed is still based on leaks and speculation, but if these details turn out to be true, the next few years could be some of the most unforgettable in gaming history. So what do you think? Does the idea of facing Dark Aloy in Horizon 3 excite you more, or are you more hyped about trying to survive the witch hunt nightmare in Hexe? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy deep dive game analysis like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.